Hello, it's Marvin McKenzie, and I wanted to make a brief product review of my 2016 Specialized Sirrus Sport. This is my 4,000 mile review on the bike, and so I just took some time and ran the numbers. I kind of looked through my records of what I've done with the bike. I bought it on May 10th, 2016. And all my numbers are going to be approximate. They're not exactly correct, but when I bought it, it was about $812 with tax included. So if I add the taxes, I put this July 7th. I had to buy added gator skins to the bike. I'd gone through numerous flat tires, and I've kind of learned some things since then. What had happened is every flat tire I had, it was always the back tire. Once I had the first flat tire, it was always my back tire. And what happened is I kept getting flat tires in that very same spot. It was just a weakness in the tire there when the originals that came on the bicycle. Just a weakness right there, and that's a spot that I should have done something. I might have been able to done something like put in a liner or whatever and be able to run them for a lot longer. But I bought the gator skins because of a friend's advice. I bought the gator skins. Of course, I bought two of them. I didn't want to have just one on. I wanted two of them, so bought that. July 11th was my first tune-up, so that's 2 months. I had ridden about 938 miles by that time. And the tune-up required that I also have a new chain and cassette put on. That's not very many miles to have a new chain, and it probably is accounted because of my weight and my inexperience on bicycles. Not that knowing that much about shifting and all that kind of stuff yet. I did not realize when you buy a new chain, they told me I needed to get a new cassette also. And the two together was about $100. August 9th, I replaced one of the gator skins. I hit something, and gator skins were better, no doubt about it. I saw a marked improvement in my ability to ride without flats and so forth, but I hit a piece of glass, sliced the gator skin right open, and so had to replace that. September 8th, I upgraded the derailleur, rear derailleur, to a Dior. I'd been having trouble since the bicycle was new. I'd been having trouble with the derailleurs. It just kind of a hesitation in the shifting, and so the Bonnie Lake Bike Shop where I purchased it, they offered to replace the back derailleur at cost. And whether that helped, in fact, it didn't really help. It might have made things a little slightly more shifts slightly smoother, but I don't really think so. I don't think it really improved anything at all. I probably could have just kept up with the other one, tweaking it here and there and trying to get a little bit better. November 16th, I replaced another gator skin. And again, in this case, I may not have had to. It was a small piano wire and I just couldn't find it. I couldn't find the little piece in it, and so it just kept busting the inner tube, and so I put a new gator skin on. I kept that old one because I just didn't know why in the world it would be so bad. I kept that old one, and later on when I had another flat tire on the gator skin and I found that piano wire in it, I went back, and then knowing kind of what I was looking for, I kind of went back through the other one and I found the little piece that was sticking through it, and was able to remove it and save that gator skin for later use. February 2nd, 2017, I had a tune-up. It was 3,040 miles on the bicycle at that time. It also required a new chain and cassette, so that's about 2,000 miles and a little over. That's not a bad deal, I don't think, for the chain. And in this case, I tried not to change the cassette. They said every time you should change the chain, you should change the cassette. I thought, man, I'm not really sure about that. And so this time I talked them out of putting on a new cassette. They put on a new chain. Got it home, was going to take it out on a ride that afternoon, and it just wouldn't work at all. It was skipping, the chain was skipping over the cassette like crazy. I took it right back and they put on the cassette, and it was working fine then. Did take a little bit of adjustments to get it going, but it was working fine. February 25th, I had to put a new crank and also brake pads on it. I have the disc brakes, but a new crank, the one that I had got kind of loose and wobbly. A friend of mine said it might have only needed a lower bracket, but the Bonnie Lake Bike Shop recommended a new crank, and so I went ahead with it and got the new crank. March the 10th, I had the hubs overhauled. February 25th, when I picked my bike up, they told me I'd need them overhauled probably by the summer. It didn't make it that long before the hubs needed overhauled. March 28th, I broke a spoke while I was cleaning the bike. I had to have that fixed. It was one of those deals. It was a $1.50 part, but it cost $37 to have them replace it. I need to learn how to do that. So what I figured out so far is this. With all of that put together, now this is approximate. Basically, I've spent $1,475 on the bicycle, $120 on tires. That doesn't include the inner tubes or other accessories like bags and so forth that I've put on the bike's, lights and all that. But with the bags, lights, and all the accessories and everything, so far it's cost me about $2.75 per mile riding this bicycle. I'm expecting that number will go down over the course of time. I won't be buying as many accessories. I haven't bought tires in a long time, and so I expect that that this cost per mile is going to go down over the course of time. But that's where I am on it right now. The bike is still operating really well. It's shifting okay. There was a little bit of I think, something I don't care for. When they put this new crank on, they put it on. I told them I'll upgrade to the best you can give me, and so that's what they did. Got it on, and then when I went to take my bike home that day, he said, "Now you'll notice that you won't be able to cross chain at all." They never say it's a good idea to cross chain, but he said you'll never be able to cross chain at all now because the way this crank works, the derailleur kind of fits funny on it. It's a little bit narrow, and the front derailleur, and it'll rub against, if you cross chain, it'll rub against the derailleur. That's okay. I usually use the center ring up front anyway, and so it's not been a problem, although I think that's a craftsman issue. I think they shouldn't have let me walk out of the store without everything fitting and functioning properly. So I think that's not a bike issue. That's an issue of the mechanic not taking enough pride in his work and craftsmanship in his work. Anyway, so that's my 4,000 mile review. Hope that you'll take the time to subscribe and like this video and share it with others.